Okay, hi guys, this is Briar Moss. I've never really done this before, so hopefully it works and hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm going to be streaming Cruel Control, or I've been calling this deck Need for Cruelty, for the Penny Dreadful format. If you aren't familiar with it, Penny Dreadful legality is set every 3 months, and doing the week where they're setting legality, everything that's 1 penny for the time they're testing for legality is made legal, and that's a list, and that list stays legal for 3 months. The new set is added in after a couple weeks, and so we always have new cards entering and leaving the format. This is my deck for this evening. It's called, like I said, Need for Cruelty. It's a control combo deck. The key combo is Living Lore or just hard casting Cruel Ultimatum here. We have a bunch of filtering to let us dump the Cruel controls in the graveyard and get some card advantage. We have a couple of cards to keep us alive until then. These are decent threats. If someone like memoricides our Cruel Ultimatum, these will get the job done, as well as being a disruptive threat that like control decks need to answer immediately, and they're also just automatically 2-for-1ing them if we discard them off one of our discard spells. Dark Ritual lets us get some fast answers out there, or fast Cruel Ultimatums or Living Lords out there. Need for Speed surprises people because we can play and swing with Living Lore in one turn and kind of lock people out of the game that way with recurring Cruel Ultimatums via just smashing the Living Lore into their blockers time and time again. These are some more control cards just to help us get to that late game. This lets us delve away, which again double dips on all the filtering we have over here. And then for the sideboard, we have some color hate for the red-green matchups, more removal just if we don't have anything else, a full set of Pyroclasms between the main and the board, which is good against basically all the weenie strategies. So the red weenie, it's okay against green, though we don't always want it. It's good against white weenie, and good against the suicide black decks you see. Persecute is okay in almost any monocolor matchup, but it's primarily here for the Necro matchup. Our sideboard for the Necro is generally 2 times Persecute and 2 times Compost, because when Necro's playing us, one of the cards we're most scared about is Persecute backed by a fast clock, and most of the time when they Persecute, given the makeup of our deck, they name blue. So by siding into these, it really makes it so it's A, Persecute tears up their hand, and B, Compost just gives us ridiculous late game advantage, and the 8 vivid sources are generally enough to cast it by turns 2 or 3, which is all we really want or need. So with that, let's see if we've got our pairing yet, but that's the general plan, and we're paired up with E.R. Burke, who last week was playing a Necro deck, so we'll see if he's doing the same thing this time. And I don't know how you guys will be seeing this, but the Penny Dreadful community is mostly centered around the Discord channel. So you can join the Discord channel. You can get there from the subreddit, or which is probably where I'll end up posting this, but that's kind of where people follow. There's technically a channel on Magic Online, but the Magic Online user interface sucks. So we won the die roll, which is always great because we always want to play first. And this hand is perfectly keepable, doesn't do anything, but we, on almost every deck in the format, we have late game advantage, so we're happy if we can just like survive the early game, and eventually we'll get to 7 lands and just win the game. So we're going to keep that. Additionally, if we get like either a Cathartic Reunion or a Compulsive Research, it gives us the opportunity for a turn 4 Cruel Ultimatum, or well, turn 4 Living Lure Cruel Ultimatum, and then turn 5 Cruel Ultimatum. But we'll see. It's best not to count on that. Like, there's a decent chance if he's like dirtling, I'm not gonna play out the living lore because it kind of sucks if you discard the cruel ultimatum and they just like doomblade your living lore. Like, we'd much rather just hard cast the cruel ultimatum. And he's not playing Necro. I'm kind of curious what he's up to. We're going to play an untapped land just so we can leave up Revolutionary Rebuff. And we're gonna, like I said, we're just totally fine dirtling, especially if he's copying us. Being on the play is a big advantage because we have a pretty good hand and can just play land drops and disrupt whatever he's doing. Missing land drops, which is fantastic. Hopefully we draw either Cathartic Reunion or Compulsive Research, because next turn we'll be able to cast that with counter backup, but as long as we keep on hitting land drops, we're going to be doing pretty well. Oh, if he plays a Cathartic Reunion, we're just going to get him. I think he added red. Yep, that's unfortunate for him. Two land drops and one land in hand away from going off. As you see, our mana base is totally fine. We definitely have the flexibility to cast either one of these. I'm of a split mind. Generally, I feel like I can find an extra mana on the turn I'm going off, and in the event I don't get the combo between Living Lore and Cruel Control, I like leaving Need for Speed in my hand for like discard fodder. And there's not I mean, sometimes I'll like not be able to leave up Revolutionary Rebuff, and then I'll be sad I didn't play it, but in general, there's been more times when I've played this and been sad to have played it than the other way around. So we're just gonna leave that in hand for now. Alright. We could go for the Cruel Control this turn, but I think I'm fine just waiting on it. He has all of his mana up and probably has, I think he's on the mirror, so he probably has at least some Revolutionary Rebuffs, and I'd rather not run into it. I don't think we need to force it, but I'm sure some people will think that's wrong. I guess forcing it might be good, because if he counters it, we can still like go Living Lore, the countered Cruel Ultimatum, but we'll see. Hopefully he plays his own Living Lore and we can bounce it and then cast ours and just win. Or I guess we don't even need to bounce it, we can just play our Cruel Ultimatum. Alright, we're gonna go for it, just because I don't think he can do anything too damaging on his turn. Plus I like hitting land drops, what can I say? Just draw the counter out of his hand, and if he doesn't have a counter, okay, well, that sucks for him. I'm not sure, I'm shocked he waited on the, on the living lore, but maybe he was trying to play around something. I don't know. Maybe he has a Need for Speed in hand, though I guess he wouldn't have discarded the living lore if he did. We'll see. We shall see. Alright, that's not gonna help you, friend. Right, we could play the Cruel Ultimatum, but I think he probably doesn't have, if he's copying my list, he doesn't have any like thing that can deal with a 7/7 hasty person. Whereas if he has like revolutionary rebuffs, that could deal with living lore. So we're just gonna cast the living lore and cast Need for Speed and see if we can get him that way. It also lets us leave mana up to bluff counters. Though if he had a count, I mean, he would have had to have drawn it off the compulsive research. So we'll see. I suppose he could also have a bounce spell, but I'm not hugely worried about that. That's fine. And we will. We don't actually have a way to answer him. He could be doing the Need for Speed Cruel Ultimatum combo, in which case we'd want to leave up. Mana to far and away it, but I'm gonna play a little risky. Nah, I'm not gonna play risky. I don't think there's. I think we just play it out. That seems fine. That's fine. We can either bounce that or I think we're gonna bounce that. No, yeah, let's bounce that. We could bounce it with a consign or use the away portion, but I think we're just gonna bounce it. Make him. Alright, so I'm gonna do far and see if he. Or I'm gonna discard it because we know one card in his hand, and this will kind of give us a hint as to whether he has a counter or not. So if he doesn't counter this, then we play a Sidraxis and swing at him and with the haste, and then we can make sure he has no counters for the next turn. So he won't have any cards in hand. Alright, so he has one card in hand, which is either a counter or I guess like Cruel Ultimatum. Theoretically, if he hits like, if he has a Cruel, no, he can't. If he has like counter, yeah, we're just gonna make him discard it. So we got him. Alright, 2 mana. 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 2 mana So he was hoping, but it didn't matter because we had the answer even if he played it next turn. And then we'll just pass the turn. There's an open question of we can go for it by playing Living Lore and Cruel Ultimatum and swinging for the win, or we can swing, strip his hand, and then cast Cruel Ultimatum, which he won't be able to counter. I'm not sure which is safer, but he's currently, it depends on if he plays a card next. He currently doesn't have any live top decks, because the only thing that would like remotely help him would be Cruel Ultimatum. If he plays whatever's in his hand, we can just attack and win. Alright, so we'll swing and then hard cast Cruel Ultimatum. Like, I think we're better off slow rolling this. If he has a removal spell for Sidraxis, we don't care. We'll just get it back. Much either way, but, or not ice, sorry, far and away. We used to have fire and ice, but I don't think it's legal at this exact moment. This also helps us with counter magic. Oh, no, he has nothing, so we just win. Great. We don't want Pyroclasm in this matchup, I don't think, though technically it's good against the Spectres, but I'd rather just match up like our Spectres against his Spectre. I guess we can put in some Withered Wretches. I don't think we want our ultimate price, because I think we'd rather balance or counter. Like, he's not going to play a bunch of creatures. This is mostly to help have a cheaper answer to Desecration Demon or the whatever that Bloodthirst 3/3 menace creature is. Like, this answers Living Lore. I think almost everything we want to counter, with the exception of Cathartic Reunion, is gonna get countered by Flash Freeze. So we can put some Flash Freezes in. This is a slow game, so we definitely don't want to draw two of the need for speeds. I'm gonna keep in like a Miser's Dark Ritual. And then Consigned to Oblivion's. I like this less. I think I only want one Withered Wretch. That puts us at 60. And I don't think I really want Compost. So that seems fine. Could put one of the Dark Rituals back in for like a Revolutionary Rebuff. Lets us do like play faster and like sneak around counter magic, especially if he's using Revolutionary Rebuff as counter magic. Oh, I meant to drop this. I meant to drop this. And that looks good. I don't. Persecute is like. I'm not sure I like it in this matchup because sometimes it's going to be amazing, but a lot of times it's going to be like nothing. Alright, this is a super slow hand, but I'm gonna keep it and hope to draw like some filtering. Both of our deck, I think we're on the mirror again. I'm still assuming. I don't know if he's made any changes to the deck I've won the past couple tournaments with. So I don't like. I'm not at risk of getting run over. And I don't want. I want a hand where I can just make land drops, and this has 3 land drops. And hopefully I get some filtering at some point. And this is something that he has to answer, even if it doesn't come down till hopefully turn 3, possibly turn 4. So we're going to keep, especially because we're on the draw. And just hope for Cathartic Reunion, ideally when he doesn't have counter magic available. We'll see. Check out the Discord, see if anything's going on. Not much, we'll just wait on our opponent. There we go. Alright, excellent. That lets us do our turn 3 Sajaxis Spectre and see where we go from there. Our best draw would be, if he plays another tap land, we can do Cathartic Reunion, and then we have a Living Lore, and that's just a huge threat. Or a must-answer threat, as it were. So we're gonna play this slow now that we have this, because this like gives us a lot of safety. You could still go for the Sajaxis Spectre line, but I'd rather leave up Revolutionary Rebuff. I think that's just safer play. Again, it's one of those judgment calls. We're going to do turn 5 Sajaxis Spectre with Revolutionary Rebuff backup rather than jamming the Sajaxis now. Or I guess if we jam it now, he has to have an answer, but him spending his answer now doesn't like give us any ability to do stuff next turn. So again, I'd rather wait. I don't see the benefit to me trying to rush ahead. Again, if this goes to turn 7, I can Cruel Ultimatum him, and hopefully he like gets greedy and tries to go early, and then when his shields are down from trying to do his own thing, I'll be able to sneak something through. Again, assuming he even brought in counter magic. His list has counter magic. And there's a second Sidrascus Spexer, which is great. Like all we need now is like a flash freeze or something. Just sit on the counter magic and laugh at him. If he just discards due to hand size, that's even better. Oh, he already missed the land drop. I missed that. Perfect. Again, another reason not to rush, because so we could, I think we're just going to go with Spectre here and leave up the counter magic. And if he, I think we let him, if he like wants to make me sacrifice it or bounce it, we don't care too much, or counter it, or any number of things. Yeah, that's, well. Okay, so next turn, he could theoretically go land Living Lore, and we do not want that. We know he doesn't have a land, but we currently don't have a way other than the Revolutionary Rebuff, and I'm fine just getting the advantage, because he's trading one, and I'm going to make him discard next turn, or at some point in the future, as long as he doesn't get advantage back via, you know, Living Lore, he's unlikely to win, so that's fine. Yeah, if he slams Living Lore here, it's not gonna work out the way he wants it to. Which is probably why he's not doing that. I want to hit land drops more than I want to play the Sidrascus Spectre. If I get an untapped land, I can leave Revolutionary Rebuff up and make him discard. And these Living Lores are clogging up my hand. So we're gonna play that. Hopefully he didn't bring in Flash Freeze, because that would suck. But not actually too much. Like, I mean, it'd be unfortunate, but I'd rather he do it now than like against my Cruel Ultimatum. Perfect, we get a Flash Freeze. So now we have a hard counter. And we're only one land away from Cruel Ultimatum, though obviously we won't do that unless we think we can force it through counter magic. We're just playing around counter magic because we can afford to be safe. If you see us playing an aggro deck, or some other deck that can punish us for waiting, we'll slam him as soon as possible. But I think this is one of those games where we're just gonna get advantage via playing conservatively versus letting us punish, or letting him punish us. And I think, speaking of punish or unpunish, we can just run out Sidrascus and leave up one counter, or we can reanimate Sidrascus and do 2 counters. I think I'm going to play it because he's fairly low on mana, so I don't think he's going to be able to play 2 threats that I care about in one turn. That's fine. It's a win for us. Just trading card for cards, but these are these have like pseudo card advantage. guess he couldn't play that because I would have just destroyed his hand. I don't think that's... I hate that card. Like, I hate playing against it. I hate playing with it. It's just so prone to punishing you in so many ways. But we'll see. Especially because I'm perfectly happy to sit on an empty board. I'm not going to commit. Like, I would side it out against me, but I don't know what his sideboard is. So, again, we're playing it slow. If I get one more land, we'll be able to Cruel Ultimatum with backup. So that's our plan. Again, just waiting on him to tap out. We're happy to wait. Unless he does something like draw-wise, he's not going to get any damage. Fortunately for us, at least in this game, there's no factor fiction, so he did have that in hand. So there's no way for him to like punish us with draw spells at the end of turn. See, this is why previous iterations of this had Swerve in hand, and this is where Swerve would be really nice, but I think we're just going to Flash Freeze that. Or, sorry, we can Revolutionary Rebuff it. If he taps out, we Cruel him and get the card advantage back. I mean, I think we can... countered, which means he probably has a counter in hand, so we won't go for it unless we draw a land, which is fine. Again, better that than like Cruel. Alright, so next turn we'll be able to caps Cruel with Flash Freeze backup, which isn't terribly impressive, but we also have 2 mana, so we can avoid the Revolutionary Rebuff, assuming he has it. His mana is also wrong, so he's not very close to casting Cruel. That's fine. That is a odd decision. I guess he didn't want to go for it. I'm not sure if that means he has other living lures in hand or what, but it's fine. know if it's correct or not to hold this in hand, but I don't think there's any like 2 mana 3 counter, and I just want to leave it in hand just in case. Again, he has 7 lands, but because he has too many islands, he's not at risk of casting a cruel ultimatum on us. And I think I discard both Living Lures because I'll get one back from the 2. I think I'd rather keep the... I don't need 2 Flash Freezes, alright. And he still can't cast anything if he were to draw it. I don't think it really matters what we do, but I'm just going to play the Living Lore so I don't discard. And that's game. Alright, I'm going to pause it and I'll be back for round 2. Thanks for the game, or thanks for watching.